heads into Conference USA. For Elizabeth Morrow, Tim Couch, and the great men and women in our crew, this is Bob Rathman thanking you for joining us. We will see you next week in Columbia, South Carolina. Bob Rathman, so long from Nashville, Tennessee.
Every month, thousands of people are switching to Buick's innovative technology, design, and luxury. How are they arriving at this decision? In Lexuses, Acuras, Hondas, Infinitis, Toyotas, Nissan. If you don't know our luxurious new lineup, you don't know Buick.
During the Buick sell-down, get 0% financing for 60 months, plus $1,000 on the best of remaining 2013 Buick LaCrosses.
So, are you gonna drop in?
I think I'm gonna drop into Norm's for the New York steak and shrimp dinner.
Steaks hand-cut in our kitchen, 6 golden fried shrimp, vegetable, baked potato, soup, and salad. Only $10.99.
You gonna drop in tomorrow?
To Norm's.
Norm's is SoCal. Norm's Restaurants, where life happens 24/7.
This is Bob's new Honda Accord. The same car that'll pick his daughter up around the corner after her first date.
I'll be there soon, all right?
And come to her rescue when the love of her life breaks her heart. The car he'll use to show her parallel parking really isn't so hard. And the car that will be the best graduation gift ever. Start something special now with the Accord. Named one of Car and Driver's 10 best a record 27 times. Visit your local Honda dealer today.
Due to the length of the previous program, we now join the following program already in progress.
You know, Mark, this Westlake offense we've seen over the years, although it's a 4-receiver offense, it is not one of those, you know, just wing it and throw the ball over the field. It's a ball control offense despite being 4 receivers. And completion percentage is probably the most important stat on this team.
2 receivers split out to each side that time for Henry, but instead he gives it to Morris on the handoff, who picks up 3, bringing it out to the 35-yard line for second down. Zach Morris, the 5'7", 180-pound senior running back.
With all the throws, they try to spread the defense out a little bit and try to find some running lanes in there, and that's why you're going to see Morris definitely get his touches in this offense.
Henry with Rodriguez to his right. Low snap. Henry will roll out, trying to look for Rodriguez, who hadn't yet spun his head around, and a big loss. Coming in to make the tackle for Crespi. James Perryman III, the junior defensive lineman, with a huge tackle there.
Yeah, definitely some miscommunication on this route. I think that they're trying to get the ball to Rodriguez somehow. He was lined up in the backfield. And then when he was not an option, Malik Henry was sort of left out to dry in terms of what to do with the football. He does not want to turn the ball over, as we know, so he eats it for a sack.
Second sack on the year for Perryman, the junior 6'1", 215-pounder. And now it really becomes a tough equation here for Westlake on the give inside. Again, it's Reno DeBril.
Yeah, and Coach Baker just does not want to make a big mistake down in his own end. You know, he doesn't want to give up this big field position, but the one thing that's important for the young sophomore quarterback in a big game like this is to get him off to a good start. The last thing you want him to do is have 3rd and long situations, trying to convert those and make a critical turnover that hurts the team.
Jason Brown coming out to punt this one for Westlake. And back deep is Chris May. The junior returner fumbles the the catch for a moment and lays it on the ground, and that is where at about the 27-yard line where Crespi's offense will begin. They'll do so when we come back. We're still scoreless in the Ford CIF Southern Section Game of the Week.
For great offers, visit your Southern California Jaguar retailer today.
Since opening our doors in 1995, the Flame Broiler has quickly become Southern California's Rice Bowl King. At each location, we maintain our commitment to serving you the healthiest fast food around. No dairy, frying, or skin, only premium meats and the freshest vegetables around, all served in a delicious rice bowl or plate. Throw in our affordable prices, and we make a nutritious meal possible for any family on the go. Not all fast food restaurants are created equal. The Flame Broiler, a healthy choice.
There are cars your parents would recommend you drive. And then there are the cars your crazy uncle, the guy who introduced you to speed metal and gave you fireworks for your birthday, would recommend you drive. You wouldn't want to let down your uncle, would you?
Right now, well-qualified lessees get the 2013 Dodge Charger SXT for $299 a month.
Back here on the campus of Crespi High School, and scoreless between the Warriors and the Celts. Let's go ahead and take a look at tonight's Twitter question. Which is the strongest league in the Pac-5 division? Vote for your choice by tweeting hashtag Marmonte, hashtag Sarah, hashtag South Coast, or hashtag Trinity. Then tune in for Friday nights at the High School Spotlight Scoreboard Show to find out the results. What say you, JJ?
That was an easy question a couple years ago. Now it gets a little bit more difficult. As you look at the FoxSportsWest.com poll, you see that St. John Bosco and Mater Dei up at the top. That would lead you to say Trinity League. But I can also mention that, you have Sarah, Mishmiel, a lot of good teams there as well in that top 10. How about the move from Chaminade last week? Of course, coming up victorious, moves from 13 to 10. The biggest jump, Servite, from 19 to 7. 19 to 7. Come on, that didn't happen in college football.
Oaks dropped a couple of spots after the loss, and Chaminade popped up into the top 10 for the first time this year. McMahon on the keeper, and a flag in the backfield back at about the 26-yard line. We'll let the guys in the black and white striped shirts sort it out.
And surprisingly, there's a lot of penalties in this game against two very well-coached teams.
Block in the back, offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
A lot of these penalties are occurring out on the edge.
And a lot of them with block in the back.
Right, well, out on the edge, and you're trying to make those downfield blocks. Those are very difficult blocks to make, though. The receivers are down there. I'm a receiver, so I'm going to side with them a little bit here. But, the thing is, it's hard to make these blocks over the field. Now, there was the block in the back, and really that one was uncalled for. That one's the one you could let a guy go. He's already behind the play. He wasn't any threat to make the play, and Starks hit him in the back.
So the ball backed up to about the 15-yard line of Crespi. McMahon under some pressure and finds his man just inside the 30-yard line, pushed out of bounds.
You hear grumbling from the Crespi crowd. They were, they're not pleased with all the penalties that have been called against Crespi. All of them have been justified, by the way. And then this one was hit right at the sideline, and they wanted it called as they thought Jakes might have been hit a little bit late, but that's legal. Nice job by McMahon keeping his composure and, more importantly, keeping his eyes down the field, looking to make a play as he escaped from the pressure.
So to bring up 2nd down and 9. Not a lot of room to run there, maybe a gain of about 4 or 5. As Mokia coming up on the tackle there.
Now this is the signature offensive set for Troy Thomas, is this pistol offense. And the pistol, what it does is it allows the quarterback to be in the shotgun so he can get the snap. Of course, he's already halfway into his drop, but more importantly, it allows him to get the ball to the running back or the tailback that's standing behind him 2 or 3 yards, get in the ball deep so he has a chance to use his vision to see what's in front of him when he starts to make his run.
By the way, JJ, I left a vowel out of there. It's Faha Moki-Oa, who came up with the tackle right there. We'll call him Faha for part of the time here tonight.
They call him Faha. We'll call him Faha. It makes things a lot easier.
Wes Massett, the junior, who was actually a transfer from Westlake, battling an injury that he picked up in the game against Bishop Gorman. He had been spending some time as the quarterback this season for Crespi.
Yeah, he's hurt his elbow, and they hope to have him back by league play. And but they're in good hands so far with McMahon. He's done a nice job of managing this team so far. He's made several different throws, and he's made a lot of good reads. And sometimes a read is not to throw. And he's done that as well in terms of scrambling out of the pocket and making plays. So McMahon is doing a nice job. Coming into the game, he was completing 48% of his passes, but tonight, 7 of 8, 97 yards. And so he seems to have got it. And he's very hot right now. And unfortunately, this Crespi offense has not been able to capitalize on his hot throwing.
And those numbers for Connor McMahon will put him over 500 yards so far here early in the 2013 season. Came in 28 of 58 with 468 yards passing. But still no score in the game with just over 6 minutes remaining in the first half. Crespi, McMahon on the keeper, gets out to the 41-yard line. That'll be enough for a first down for Crespi. Move those chains.
That's the thing about that zone read. You can see that the quarterback will take the snap, put the ball out. The running back runs right through where the ball is supposed to be. If you can stop it right there, the running back runs through, and then McMahon chooses, since the defensive end commits, and sees the open edge, he can get to the corner and, of course, pick up the first down. So zone read is about reading the defender. He'll put the ball out, read the defender. As a running back goes by, he's making a decision. Do I hand it to the running back or keep it myself? That time he chose to keep it himself, which was the right decision. First down.
You talked about discipline. Certainly you need plenty of that on the defensive side of the ball. As before the play even got started, whistles come in.
Dead ball. False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty.
March it back 5 yards to set up 1st and 15 for Connor McMahon.
Well, and the only thing that's really been able to stop both of these teams tonight so far is themselves.
Yep. So
offensively, where we come in and both teams came in 2-2 and sort of trying to figure out their identity, how good they're going to be. And, the coach has been all week. We have to do this. You have to block here. You have to run there. You have to throw here. You have to throw there. The one thing you forget is don't commit penalties and kill yourself.
Underneath screen and intended in the hands of Marvell Tell. Just off of his fingertips, falling incomplete. 2nd and 15, ball spotted on the 37-yard line of Crespi.
Yeah, I know both coaches are thinking the same thing. They're thinking, hey, look, we're 2-2. We've had some tough games. We've lost some games we should have won or should have at least competed better in. Now we're getting the effort. Now we're competing, and we just keep shooting ourselves in the foot. So, it's like always something from a coach's standpoint that you're never quite satisfied.
Fake on the handoff. McMahon looking over the middle, threw into traffic. And it was Padilla as well as Reno Jabril over the middle of the field, trying to squeeze it into a tight spot. That'll bring up 3rd and long here for Crespi.
Yeah, that was one of the few times that I saw McMahon really lock in on one receiver and not really survey the field and take what the defense was giving him. That time there was double coverage in the middle. They were really locked up on the tight end down the middle. And he had one-on-one coverage out here with Marvell Tell, who is the guy you really want to get the football, especially if they're going to single cover it.
It was Matthew Jakes who was the intended target there. So 3rd and 15. Starks the lone setback behind McMahon. Up and over the middle, and a wide open Crespi player in the form of Christian Pearson. First time we call the junior receiver tonight, and it's good for a first down.
Well, Pearson coming in was their big play threat. He averaged over 23 yards per reception. He had 9 receptions on the year. And this is just great protection. And how about that pocket by the Crespi offensive line? They had all kinds of time for McMahon to throw. A nice clear window. He throws it to Pearson, a big target down the middle as he goes up and gets it, knowing he was in traffic.
Big gain. The ball will go into Westlake territory now. 1st and 10 from the Warriors' 36-yard line. Read option, and Starks, who's a big load, pushing forward behind that offensive line to gain about 5. If you're just joining us, Starks actually had the first turnover of the game and a fumble back in the first quarter.
Starks got hit that time and his helmet came off, and high school rule is any time, for whatever reason, if your helmet comes off, you have to come and sit out a play. So the referees take an official timeout quickly, inform Starks that he has to come off. He does. He'll strap it back on and get in there after this 2nd down play.
2nd and 5, inside of 5 minutes left in the first half. And now it is Crespi who are putting together a good drive here. McMahon off the play action, looking deep into the corner, looking for Tell. And that ball underthrown just a bit. Knocked away by Harrison, who is slow to get back up to his feet. The 6-foot junior defensive back.
Very young in the secondary. Westlake, 3 juniors and 1 senior. This is a nice play by Harrison. That's played beautifully. He might have hyperextended his knee a little bit when he came down and just landed right there. His ankle just twisted it. You saw it a little bit right at the end. So he'll have to come off for a play. The ball on the field. When the kicker's warming up, was trying to kick it into the net. Missed the net. The ball ended up on the field.
Keep in mind that net is 3 feet away.
There it is. You see the net right there. And so now the coach is like, oh, I don't know if we're going to be able to make a field goal if you can't kick it into that net.
Dylan Klumpf, who's actually already missed a field goal attempt here tonight. Big 3rd and 5 now here for Crespi. McMahon keeps it and completes the pass. Able to find Jakes, who's able to pick up a first down.
Very good play. Once again, play action fake, and with the way that Crespi is running the football, you have to respect that. And as soon as you step in, they roll the opposite way and hit a guy in the flat. So Jakes escapes again from the interior of that defense. 3 catches, 35 yards. He's been very effective so far here early.
Alexi Isham coming up to make the stop, the senior linebacker. I heard that name before, the brother of Nick Isham, who made some headlines during his time at Westlake.
Ball start, offense, 5-yard penalty.
Probably sounds like a broken record for those listening at home, JJ. Every time one of these offenses starts to get some momentum going, those little yellow flags keep coming out.
Yeah, another penalty. That was another easy one to call. Movement in the line too early.
1st and 15 from the 30. Good run right through the heart of the defense. Quentin Johnson. And it appears that Johnson and Starks are going to just alternate back and forth as a tailback tonight.
Well, he was able to squeeze through, and you see him following those big bodies. All he sees is just Celt jersey, so he knows if I run through here, I'm safe. Runs right through the middle of that offensive line, and the only person to stop him was the free safety, touchdown saving tackle.
High snap, McMahon able to get a hand to it, gives it right there for Quentin Johnson, who explodes all the way down to the 6-yard line of the Warriors. Move the chains once again, but that'll set up 1st and goal for Crespi.
Very nice job by the offensive line once again. Getting off on the dry blocks, they're able to pull Alvarez around, number 54. He makes a nice kick-out block, and there's a nice seam in the middle of that defense once again.
Injured player down for the Westlake Warriors being attended to at the 13-yard line of Westlake. I mentioned that Starks and Johnson, the two tailbacks alternating here tonight. And that is because T.J. Brumfield is still nursing an ankle injury. And as Troy Thomas not all the way back to 100%. So thinking bigger picture, probably won't see much of Brumfield here tonight. Make sure you stay tuned for the halftime show presented by your Southern California Ford dealers as Rashawn Haylock takes us inside the life of a blind football player down at Orange Lutheran. It's a great story. We will catch you up on all the scores from the prep zone, and finally we'll have highlights and stats from our first half of action here at Selt Stadium. It's all coming up on the halftime show presented by your Southern California Ford dealers. And despite the fact we've had no scoring with a little less than 3.5 minutes left in the first half, JJ, I think we would agree we have seen some big plays made here tonight. Sometimes called back because of penalties, but we have seen both teams make some big plays, including some turnovers.
We've seen good offensive execution on both sides. We just have not seen the consistent offensive execution it's going to take to put the ball in the end zone. So right now we're seeing Crespi on the move once again. I think we've only seen one punt in this game, so from that standpoint it's been, you would think it's been well played, but the miscues and the penalties, the infractions of what's killed both teams.
First and goal from the 6-yard line of the Westlake Warriors. Johnson on the handoff, and they'll mark him down just short of the goal line. Picked up 5.5 if they were on the 6-yard line. Setting up 2nd and goal.
Well, the Westlake defensive front is at a size disadvantage against this big offensive line for Crespi. So right now, they're enjoying the fruits of their labor. And, early in this game, we saw a lot of runs into the middle of this offensive line. And right now, they're starting to get a good push on the defensive front. They're going to have to be some adjustments on the Westlake side to get more guys in the box to try to stop this Powell running game.
DJ Beavers in there as a blocker. They give it to Johnson, and he high steps into the end zone. No flags. Crespi takes the lead. That'll bring some life to the crowd here at Selt Stadium.
Well, they did a good job coming down the field, mixing the run and the pass, but when they get down in this red zone area, they put all the weight on that offensive line's shoulders, and those big guys fired off the ball and was able to finally punch it into the end zone.
Chance to add the point after.
Illegal substitution defense. The yardage is declined.
And so now the opportunity to make it a 7-0 lead. Christian Bianchi comes on here, and he'll put it through the uprights to make it 7-0. Now we had to wait a ways, but finally the first score of the game comes, and it's the home team, the Crespi Celts, who take a 7-0 lead, capping off the drive. Quentin Johnson with the 1-yard touchdown run.
People have been using wind power for sailboats since the beginning of time. Wind can be converted to electricity with windmills, and it's clean and renewable. There are people and companies working to make wind power available to everyone. All we have to do is get behind them. Can one solution to energy woes be blowing in the wind? The possibilities are endless.
Driving home your dream Mercedes-Benz at a really dreamy price is just the beginning. Hello, I'm Fletcher Jones Jr. We call it Mercedes-Benz and more. You'll call it a great reason to lease or purchase from Fletcher Jones Motor Cars. Our preferred owner benefits provide complimentary airport shuttle and parking, complimentary loaner cars, and our complimentary car washes. Why would anyone offer so much value? Because, as I've said before, I really want to earn your business.
Fletcher Jones Motor Cars, Mercedes-Benz, Newport Beach.
Welcome back to the Ford CIF Southern Section Game of the Week. The touchdown run there by Quentin Johnson, the senior tailback, bringing some life and energy to the crowd here just moments ago.
Well, was a defense, or Crespi defense that was able to bring some life. They forced that turnover deep in their own end. That saved what you thought was going to be a would-be touchdown. And then the pressure that they were able to get on the quarterback led to them getting the ball in good field position. And then the offensive line behind a good running game by Quentin Johnson, able to punch it in for the first touchdown of the game. And so Crespi, despite all the miscues, finally able to overcome. They go 13 plays, 72 yards, and pick up the first score of the game.
All right, we'll find out how the Warriors can respond as Dylan Klumpf will line up to kick this one off for Crespi. Andre Bocelli back deep alongside Jalen Harrison. Good to see Harrison back on the field. That ball will roll into the end zone as Bocelli had a little trouble getting his hands to it, and so consequently the Warriors will take over 1st and 10 at their own 20.
All right, now here's a big decision for Jim Bankert, the head coach for Westlake. How much faith do you have in the sophomore Malik Henry to go to 2-minute offense when you're backed up on your own 20 with just 2 minutes and 32 seconds left to go in the half? You obviously don't want to make a miscue and give the ball back to Crespi. You can safely go into the locker room here down 7-0 and try to regroup. It'll be interesting to see the play calling or the play selection in this situation.
And remember, it is Westlake who will have the ball first. No, it'll be Crespi who will have the ball first in the second half. On the keeper here for Henry, slides out of bounds at the 25-yard line. A pickup of 5, setting up 2nd and 5.
And that's a part of his game that I really would like to see him improve or continue to do is run with the football. You have to, as an athletic quarterback, and you don't have to be the fastest quarterback, right? You don't have to be a running back playing quarterback, but as an athletic quarterback, which Henry is, if the defense is going to pin their ears back and come outside and leave open running lanes, you have to take them. That'll force them to stay more disciplined and ultimately give you more time to throw.
2nd and 5 here for Malik Henry, looking for the comebacker as Alex Egerbidi was the intended receiver. That one will fall incomplete, and they'll set up 3rd and 5. Going back to your question, though, JJ, at some point, doesn't Bankert have to, quote-unquote, turn over the keys to a sophomore quarterback?
Well, yeah, I mean, at some point he will, but, you know, the one thing is right now they are in the game. And so as a result, if you turn the ball over or if you go 3 and out quickly, which they are in danger of doing right now, right? Because they got the ball at 2 minutes, 32 seconds, 15 seconds have ticked off. Now here comes an important 3rd and 5 play. You give the ball back to Crespi with too much time, you're giving them an opportunity to break this game open in the first half.
Big 3rd and 5 thus here for the Warriors. Henry, pump fake, then tucked it away, and it's a good thing he did. He was surrounded. Perryman coming in, as well as Brandon Loftus, the junior defensive end.
Yeah, and that time it just wasn't there for Henry. He had one read that he was sort of locked in on. He was going to come back to his right side, and he just could not get the ball in there. The protection started to break down a little bit as well.
Lawless came in with 1 sack on the year. I think he'll get credit for 2nd one right there. And we haven't seen too many punts here tonight. But a punt there from Chasen Brown. Fielded by Crespi as May tries to find some running room. Flags come flying in near midfield.
This is an easy one as well, blocking the back. And so Crespi, who would have had great field position on the Westlake side of the 50, this one is going to come back because of another block in the back.
Our officiating crew has been getting quite a workout and familiar with the crowd here tonight.
Block in the back, on the return, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
You know, I oftentimes want officials to let the kids play and let the game be decided on the field, but tonight, as you see that blatant block in the back right there, I mean, tonight there's been really no choice. You know, the penalty flags have all been legitimate. It's not one of them that I could argue that, hey, let the kids play. You know, can't say that tonight.
All right, so what's the philosophy now for Troy Thomas with regards to his quarterback, Connor McMahon? How much does he let him open it up with about 1.5 minutes left in the first half?
Well, I think that they're going to run the ball here, but I think that with McMahon just a little bit different because he's had such a hot hand here in the first half. So I wouldn't be surprised if they just say, hey, look, you know what? We have great field position. We're, you know, the 44-yard line right now. 2nd and 1, and, you know, you can take some chances here. different situation for Westlake, backed up in their own end, starting at their own 20, compared to very favorable position for Crespi nearing midfield.
Second and short for Crespi, to be precise. 2nd and 1, just under a minute remaining in the first half. Any points would be a huge plus here for Crespi. Johnson, who ran in the lone touchdown of the game, second effort, spurts ahead, and he gets a first down and some extra yardage to take it across midfield and move the chains.
That's a strong run by Johnson. He goes at 181 pounds, but he's just running through tacklers on that last play. That's another unbelievable.
Dead ball, snap infraction, offense, 5-yard penalty.
Snap infraction, that's a new one for me, JJ.
Well, you're going to see that he sort of double snapped that one, but watch his last run by Johnson. He breaks 2-3 tackles at the line of scrimmage and then able to carry defenders. That's real strong running. Coach Thomas prides himself as well as his team in the weight room. He preaches that they have to lift weights and he wants them to be stronger and stronger. That's, sort of part of the deal at Crespi, and it was a deal of the culture at Service. They want a very strong team. You can see that strong running by Quentin Johnson on that last play.
So things a little bit sloppy maybe in the closing moments of this first half, and thus Troy Thomas tells his team to take a knee, and they'll be happy to take a 7-0 lead into the locker room after the first 2 quarters of play here tonight on the Fort CIF Southern Section Game of the Week.
Be interesting to find out if he's happy or disappointed. Let's go down to Rashawn Haylock.
Absolutely. We're going to find out right now, Coach. You punched one in late. I mean, how happy were you to get on the board here late in this first half?
I was excited because we get the ball back right at the beginning of the second half. So hopefully we'll do it again.
Yeah, kind of a barn burner here. How pleased are you with the play of your defense?
Defense playing great. We got in some bad situations and we got out of them. So I'm proud of, we started 11 underclassmen, so those guys are doing great.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Best wishes in the second half. Mark?
That is head coach Troy Thomas in his second stint here as the head coach of the Crespi Celts. Remember, he was a player here back in the mid-1980s. 7-0's your score after the first half of play here in Encino, California. Crespi in front over the Westlake Warriors. Hope you're enjoying the action here on the Ford CIF Southern Section Game of the Week.
For great offers, visit your Southern California Jaguar retailer today.
The greatest thrills and excitement are awaiting you right in your own backyard. The CIF Southern Section and your SoCal Ford dealers encourage you to go to a game at your local high school. Unbelievable action is right in your community. You'll be amazed at what you've been missing. Supporting your local school has never been more fun. Go to a game this week.
So, are you going to drop in?
I think I'm going to drop into Norm's for the New York steak and shrimp dinner.
Steaks hand-cut in our kitchen, 6 golden fried shrimp, vegetable, baked potato, soup, and salad. Only $10.99.
Are you going to drop in tomorrow?
To Norm's.
Norm's is SoCal. Norm's Restaurants, where life happens 24/7.
Something big is coming. Big and powerful. Big and beautiful. Introducing the Fiat 500L. Big enough for 4 passengers. Or even 5. four-door Fiat 500L.
Right now, well-qualified lessees can lease the 2014 Fiat 500L Pop for $239 a month.
The Ford CIF Southern Section Game of the Week is brought to you by your Southern California Ford dealers. It's time to trade up to a Ford. And by the Flame Broiler, a healthy choice. 7-0 Crespi as we put the wraps on the halftime show presented by your Southern California Ford dealers and segue into the second half action here at Selt Stadium. Before we do that, let's go ahead and take a look at the highlights from the opening 2 quarters of play. And the theme seemed to be a lot of defense, JJ, and turnovers.
Yeah, turnovers really started off the night, and this was the first one. Stark puts on the ground, gave Westlake great field position starting on the Crespi half of the 50. And then as they were driving, Rodriguez would put the ball on the ground, and that would be a turnover inside the 5-yard line, would cost Westlake their best opportunity of the night. And then Connor McMahon started to get hot. He started to use the middle of the field. He started to spread the ball around to different receivers. This one to Christian Pearson was his big catch of the night, and then he was able to spread the ball on the outside as well. So once he got hot, that allowed them to get the running game started as well. With the paying respect to the pass, they started to run the ball. Quentin Johnson was the beneficiary of that. They drove the ball down the field on a nice long drive, the best drive of the night. And so far, the first half stats say this game should be far more lopsided than 7-0, with Crespi with 233 total yards in the first half. They're dominating time of possession as well. The turnovers even at 1 apiece. The bottom line is Westlake has to get some offense going to keep that Crespi offense off of the field.
Let's take a look at the 2 guys who really led the way there in the second quarter for Crespi, and that would be quarterback Connor McMahon. Solid. The numbers really aren't jaw-dropping, but that's exactly what you want for him, just to manage the game, right?
Exactly, and he did a great job of that. He started the night 6 for 6, 130 yards. You know, the most important stat, no interceptions. And Quentin Johnson just getting started with that number, 9 rushes, 57 yards. If they continue to give him the ball, those long runs will start to get longer and longer as they wear the Westlake defense down.
So Crespi has to be feeling pretty good heading into the second half. How does Westlake feel? Let's go down and check in with Rashawn, who has their head coach, Jim Banker.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Down here with Coach Banker. Coach, saw you talking to your quarterback during that first half. Just a sophomore. What do you want to see from him here in the second?
Well, if it's not there, we want him to throw the ball away, and you know, he'd try to get out of the pocket and try to make something happen, and we lost some yards there, and that wasn't okay. But he'll regroup, he'll get better, and he'll learn.
Defensively, I would imagine you got to be pleased with your effort. What did you take away from that in the first half?
Well, the kids are playing hard. You know, we're a little outmanned up front. They've got some great size, and they've got a great scheme. They're getting into us up front, and we gotta make sure they can't get 5 yards at a chunk.
Hey, thanks so much, Coach. Mark, JJ.
Thank you, Rashawn. Well, I think that big point was the last one he said right there about how they're getting pushed around a little bit. We suspected that might be part of what we would see tonight.
Well, the thing is with McMahon, you know, having the hot hand throwing the football, you just can't commit the extra guys necessary to stop the run up front for Crespi. So it's going to be a tough challenge for Coach Banker and his defense. The most important thing is they're going to have to get some 3 and outs. They're going to have to get out there, stop them on, you know, before they are allowed to pick up a couple first downs. The more first downs that Crespi picks up, the more it wears down his defense.
JJ, do you think for Westlake defensively, their scheme, as you look at the sophomore quarterback Malik Henry getting ready, do you think maybe now they play run first to stop the run and see if McMahon can continue to have that hot hand?
You're going to have to take some chances, and that's exactly what you have to do. As long as they keep running Quentin Johnson the way they were committed to, you know, especially in that second quarter, you know, they're going to have to commit more guys in the box, and if anything, put more pressure on McMahon throwing, because he's had a lot of time to throw as well.
Troy Thomas told us earlier about his senior quarterback. He's a first-time starter, and so consequently, he makes first-time mistakes sometimes. But you get the feeling that maybe, as Troy Thomas said about his team as a whole, starting to turn that corner a little bit, and McMahon recognizing when he needs to tuck the ball, when he needs to throw it away, and we've seen that here tonight.
You know, Mark, you make a great point. As far as McMahon, he's a senior in class, but he did not start last year as a junior, so this is really his first chance at getting to be the starting quarterback, and so he seemed to work through some of the kinks and some of the first game or first year jitters that most quarterbacks have.
As Troy Thomas told Rashawn Haylock heading off at halftime, he was happy because the Celts get the ball first here in the second half. Here's the Carmack second half kickoff. Carmack's start here. As it'll be brought out by Chris May. And he'll bring it about to the 15-yard line, and that is where Crespi will take over with their first possession of the second half.
They got an injured Warrior on the field for Westlake. It appears to be Jake Montoya, number 49, who's just slow getting up.
Didn't really see anything initially right away on the return. A lot of bodies got stacked up right there in between the 15 and 20-yard line.
Let's see. We'll see if we can pick it up. Montoya's number 49, so he's coming from the right of your screen, as you see, as they go down to cover the kick. You know, this is, one thing that they talk about in terms of football. There's a lot of big collisions when you come down on kickoff team because you're running full speed. You see him come down there. He got hit. Looked like he took a shot on his right shoulder. So he's going to be able to get up and jog off the field, but it looked like he took a shot on that right shoulder. Might have been a little bit tender before the game. He took a big shot, and that's one thing when you come down on kickoff. You know, you're running full speed, so imagine if you're running top speed at whatever speed you're running, 4.7, 4.8, and the other guy's running 4.7, 4.8. That's a big collision, and then, you know, shoulders can't take those type of collisions.
Wouldn't have been as vicious for me because I run about a 10-second 40. Sack to open up the first set of downs here for Crespi. Lexi Isham coming in, part of that linebacking trio there, the 5'10 senior linebacker.
Well, Mark, we guessed what counter Westlake would do. This time they send Isham from the outside linebacker spot, and he comes from the blind side of McMahon. You know, he was the extra guy in the box that was sort of committed to help stop some of the running effectiveness from the Crespi offense. And since he was already at the line, he had a free path to the quarterback. They did not see him on the blitz pickup, and the first sack of the night for Westlake.
Now what does Crespi do? 2nd and 15. They give the handoff there to Starks. They'll pick up the original yardage that they lost on the sack, bring it back for 3rd and 10.
Yeah, that's the one thing when you have two experienced coaches. It's all about a chess match between the two. You can sort of see it playing out on the field. As we talked about, is the elephant in the room. How are you going to stop Crespi from wearing down your defense? Well, the first play of the second half, they send Isham on a outside linebacker blitz from his outside spot. He gets a sack, brings up a long yardage situation, and now Crespi, despite picking up 5 yards, just able to get back to the original line of scrimmage.
Big 3rd down for both sides. McMahon looking to surveying the scene over the middle, found his receiver, as it was Marvell Tell who made the catch, but he's short of the first down.
And there you go, right? Because he had a 3rd and long. It was 3rd and 10. Try to throw the ball underneath to let Tell, make a man miss to pick up a first down. Good job of tackling by Westlake. And so you force the 3 and out coming out of the locker room. You couldn't be happier if you're Jim Bankert in terms of the adjustment that was made, getting pressure on the quarterback and getting your defense off the field.
It was exactly, JJ, what you said they needed. They got it 3 and out. 2 guys back to field the punt. It'll bounce at the 40 and take a bounce in favor of Crespi. Rolls all the way down to the 26-yard line. So the long punt there from Jonathan Weibacher.
And you can see they're extremely upset on the Westlake side because as a punt returner, anytime that ball is kicked in the air, you have to make sure that you catch the football as a punt returner. Even if you fair catch it, it would probably cost them about 15 yards of field position by letting that ball bounce. So as a punt returner, anytime you can get up and catch the ball, even if you run up, call fair catch, and catch the football, you save your team valuable yardage.
Andre Bocelli was the player that was closest to it that probably could have made the fair catch. 1st and 10 now for the Warriors. Morris on the handoff of the short gain to set up 2nd down just past the line of scrimmage.
Well, they want to continue to try to get Morris going because they have to balance out the run game. You heard Coach Baker at halftime talk about his concerns for Henry and things he needs to do with the football. Well, he doesn't want to put 100% of the onus of the offense on Henry's shoulders. So he has to find some way to get Morris going a little bit so that the passes will open up for Henry.
Henry from the shotgun with 2 receivers out to the near side. Looking over the middle, goes back to the far side and completes his pass And into the hands of Bocelli, who picks up a first down.
Come on, Mark. Now that's a laser. Okay, this is why Coach Baker is so high on Malik Henry. Watch. He's going to drop back in the pocket, and then zing. Look at that. On a frozen rope right to the sideline. That's the one area of the field that the defense is least going to defend, is deep and far on the sideline, because it's a difficult throw for the quarterback. Henry made it look easy.
Moves the ball to the Warriors 42. 1st and 10. The handoff for Morris again. Driving in is Marcus Moore, the defensive tackle, to make a big stop for the Celts.
Marcus Moore, they absolutely love him and his upside.
You can see why.
Only a sophomore. You see him get right into the backfield. It was just a tandem of two guys right there, able to meet him in the hole. Moore and Sakona. Great job by these two defensive tackles. Sakona, a junior. Moore, only a sophomore.
Moore had been battling some injuries, but Troy Thomas told us to keep our eyes out for number 65. 2nd and 13. We're not on the same page as that pass intended for Alex Egurbidi.
Egurbidi is a guy that I thought they were going to try to get going a little bit early in this game. He started at receiver as a sophomore for Westlake. He's been a 3-year starter. He's a matchup problem for most teams with his size, 6'5", 200 pounds. That's a nice big target, I think, that Henry should really try to utilize more.
Now 3rd and 13 for Westlake. Low snap. Henry's able to get it, scrambles outside the pocket, has a chance to throw, but before he can do so, Michael Mason Jr. comes in to apply the hit, whether it's an incomplete pass or a loss. The punting unit out for Westlake.
Well, the low snap really started this off as a bad play. Being a 4th and 13. And so what happens is anytime the snap is low, the quarterback has to obviously bend down to pick it up, but then he bobbled it, so that takes his eyes completely off the secondary. So the most important thing for the quarterback is to read what the secondary is doing, to find out, of course, where his receivers are at. As soon as that snap is low, it just starts to throw the whole continuity of the play off.
Jason Brown with the punt. May back to receive, signals for the fair catch at the 20, and that is where Crespi will come out for their second offensive series of the second half. Defenses stepping up again, including the big hit there by Michael Mason Jr. Back in a moment.
Since opening our doors in 1995, the Flame Broiler has quickly become Southern California's Rice Bowl King. At each location, we maintain our commitment to serving you the healthiest fast food around. No dairy, frying, or skin. Only premium meats and the freshest vegetables around, all served in a delicious rice bowl or plate. Throw in our affordable prices, and we make a nutritious meal possible for any family on the go. Not all fast food restaurants are created equal. The Flame Broiler, a healthy choice.
Waves are really powerful. They're clean, renewable, and really fun. There are companies proving that wave power can be safely harnessed to make electricity. The first tidal turbines in New York successfully provided electricity to local businesses on Roosevelt Island. Can one solution to energy woes be found right off the beach? The possibilities are endless.
What's better than being voted the best body shop in Orange County? Being voted the best body shop in Orange County 2 times in a row. Fountain Valley Body Works has done it again. We have spent over $1 million in state-of-the-art equipment upgrades. That means advanced, up-to-date repair techniques. An average body shop is just not capable of repairing today's new and highly advanced vehicles. Fountain Valley Body Works, the most advanced and state-of-the-art body shop in Orange County.
Well, Chris May fielded the punt a moment ago, but last week he was huge on defense, JJ. 3 picks in the win for Crespi against Clovis West, including, 2 of them to the house.
Yeah, what a great night for May. You know, very subtly you get, just an interception, 1 interception in the game, much less 2 returned for touchdowns. He has a great feel for the ball and a great feel for the game, and that's why they love May. He says, called it a game of a lifetime a week ago. 3 picks, 2 touchdowns. and really sort of, set this defense, sort of started to turn the tide for this defense they're hoping for weeks to come. Remember, that's a tough losses. They lost to South Point Catholic out of Arizona, 47-7. They lost to Bishop Gorman, 42-9. Two, big, embarrassing losses. So after the win off of Taft against Taft in week 1, they really struggled the last couple weeks. So they needed that injection of defense and turnovers and points all combined into one last week against Clovis West.
1st and 10 for Crespi. Quentin Johnson. And did he fumble the ball? Bodies piling up on top of each other, and Westlake saying they have it, and they do!
I'll tell you, Quentin Johnson took a shot. I couldn't tell who hit him initially, but whoever it was, they took just a vicious shot. Faja's going to come up with the fumble recovery, so he's the one celebrating. But it was all set up by this shot that he's going to take. Watch, he comes, and then right in here, he starts to cut back right there. Helmet on the football, jars it loose. Westlake, great field position.
Now can they take advantage of it? Henry, 3-step drop, a deep drop, though, looking for immediate points, and he finds Rodriguez. And the signal is touchdown, Warriors.
Rodriguez gets up hobbling, but what a great throw and catch by Rodriguez. After the turnover, Coach Bankert goes for the throat, goes up top with a corner route, and Henry couldn't have thrown any better a ball than that last one. Gonna drop back, good protection, and look at this throw. Into the corner, drops it over. Beautifully thrown, beautifully executed, and Westlake, just like that, they are back in this game.
JJ, seconds from me saying, can the Warriors take advantage of the turnover? They answer the question. 3rd touchdown catch of the season for Nick Rodriguez. And go back to it again. What a throw there from Malik Henry.
Yeah, also a good route by Rodriguez, because what happened is he pushed his man to the post, and then was able to break back to the corner, and you can see he had the presence of mind to know exactly where he was at on the field as he dotted the I, as they call it. You put that foot down and you dot the I before you go out of bounds. It was a nice catch by Rodriguez. Looks like he might have caught a cramp in making that catch. Oh, no, it's a different. No, it's 12 there. Okay, 22 was on the ground. But in any case, just a great throw and catch by Rodriguez, getting his 3rd touchdown of the season.
JJ, so now we're even at 7-7. JJ, when you asked Troy Thomas how he thought this game would play out in our conference call with him earlier this week, he said, if I was Westlake, I would attack our young sophomore corners with their big receiving core that they have. We haven't seen a ton of it here tonight until now.
Well, one of the keys of the game we talked about is that Westlake was going to have to make some big plays in the passing game, because I just did not think that their running game was strong enough to sustain against this Crespi front 7. And that has been exactly the case. So then you see...
and you were correct. It was Rodriguez. It was down battling some cramps. 7-7. Exactly what Westlake needed to get right back in it here early in the second half. May past the 20 out to the 24-yard line. Let's go back and take one more look at the touchdown pass for the Westlake Warriors.
All right, well, you're going to watch, and you're going to see that Rodriguez gets over the top of the defender, and he's able to just keep his hands in, and right there, I guess he got up, he's getting ready to celebrate, and he said, I got a cramp. I didn't drink, I need another Gatorade.
Well, it is cool out here now in Encino this time of night.
One thing, though, is Rodriguez a two-way player, and a lot of times you see that. Guys that play both ways, in his case, really rarely comes off of the field to get a rest. They're the first ones to dehydrate and get cramps.
1st and 10, and now it is Jalen Starks who is back into the backfield for Troy Thomas and the Celts offense.
Well, Starks continues to run hard through the interior of that defense. You know, one thing is, if you can't stop a team from running up the middle, it's going to be a long night, because there's really not much more help you can bring. You already have the defensive tackles, the nose guard in there, the middle linebacker. I mean, it's not like you can add another safety to the middle of that defense. So if they can't stop him running up the middle, it's going to be tough sledding for this Westlake defense.
If it worked once, why not go back to it? This time picking up another 6 yards, or close to that, to move the chains and set up 1st and 10 for Crespi. As they take the ball now out to the 36-yard line.
Westlake starting to shuttle in defensive linemen to try to get a fresh body. John Wise comes in replace of Alex Lux. Weiss, of course,
First and 10 here for Crespi. Connor McMahon in the shotgun. Gives it again and straight up the middle here for Starks. Picks up another 5, maybe just short of 5 yards. Check in the third member of our crew downstairs, Rashawn Haylock. How are you, Rashawn?
Doing all right, Mark. JJ, you may have noticed the letters on the back of the Crespi helmets, PEG, that's for Peg. Peg O'Connor she worked here at the school in the attendance office for 41 years. At the age of 85, she passed away, though, however, earlier this year. She was in a car accident. They say she had a heart attack behind the wheel, and a car accident took her life. But the guys are honoring her for the remainder of the season with the Peg on the back of the helmets.
Nice little tribute from the Crespi players. 2nd and 5. McMahon finding his man, Jakes. On the out pattern, and another first down for Crespi.
Jakes is a very reliable target for Connor McMahon for several reasons. First of all, he lines up at that tight end spot, which is going to create a natural mismatch for him with the linebackers when he's working in the middle of the field. And it often surprises the cornerbacks like he did on that play. He goes up and out, and the cornerback really doesn't get a chance to really see him. He's sort of coming from the interior of the line and breaking out. And he's a big target, which makes it easier for McMahon to get him the football.
Starks is the go-to back on this series so far. Plows ahead for an extra couple yards to set up 2nd and probably call it 7. By the way, going back to Matthew Jakes, the 6'3" senior tight end, already committed to Fresno State, which you could see him filling a similar role up there for Fresno State, catching the ball.
Yeah, really a nice body, 6'3", 193 pounds. Nice body to be a tight end or an H-back. You know, as he starts to get a little bit older, starts to fill out a little bit, he'll be the perfect size. And you can see he has good speed to get down the field as well. And that's what they want at the college level. College tight ends that can get down the field and catch the football.
Quentin Johnson back in at tailback. He'll run this one straight through the heart of the offensive line. Picks up about 4 yards, and it'll set up 3rd and call it 4.
Starting to see the strength of when you run the pistol offense, why it's so difficult. The running backs are running downhill. Just continue to put pressure on you.
We'll call it 3rd and a long 3. Johnson remains in the backfield, and in comes junior linebacker DJ Beavers to try and open up a hole. Westlake quickly surrounding the ball carrier in Johnson, and he did not get enough to push ahead for a Crespi first down. Decision time now here for Troy Thomas.
Big call here, because on 3rd and 4, it appeared that he was saying, you know, I think I'm in 4-down territory, so I'm going to run the football. But I think he was planning on gaining more than a yard and a half. So now it's, you know, it's 4th and, you know, a long 2. He needs a full 2 yards here, and so it's decision time. It appears that they're going to go for it.
He's got to get to about the 41-yard line. So yes, exactly, JJ, a full 2 yards here.
Watch for the hard count.
Same formation. Johnson instead is the play action fake. And he skips it into the hands of his receiver, trying to link up with Shannon Miller Jr., a receiver whose name we hadn't called all night, and it'll turn over on downs.
Well, the surprising thing was there was no underneath route to throw the ball to, which leads me to believe that somebody either blew a route. It was good job by the Westlake defensive end staying home and putting immediate pressure on McMahon to force him to throw the football. But as you see, he had a receiver in a curl route, but he had nobody in an underneath route. It would almost lead me to believe that maybe Jakes or somebody was supposed to slide across and the tight end maybe come across the formation, you know, on some kind of intermediate short route so he could dump it off, but there was no outlet to get the ball to.
So Westlake brings their offense back out on the field. Morris trying to turn the corner, brought down at the 41-yard line. Short gain there for the Westlake Warrior tailback. I don't know if you could see it either, JJ. In the end of the replay there, you could see the receiver, Nick Rodriguez, as you said, doubling over on the defensive side of the ball, coming up with cramps again. We'll have to keep an eye on the number 12 for Westlake.
Well, they desperately need him. He's been a big part of the offense. Remember, he had a couple nice catches out of from the running back spot early. He's obviously a key member on the defense, their best cornerback. So they can ill afford to lose him.
4 receivers available for Malik Henry in the shotgun. Low snap, but he fields it quickly, getting it out here to the near sideline. The catch made by Bocelli, but immediately surrounded by dark jerseys and hit for a loss.
It's a good job of coordinating between the defensive scheme here. And by that, I mean they bring a blitz, but even more importantly than bringing the blitz, the defenders know that this quarterback is not going to have a lot of time to throw. So as soon as they recognize bubble screen, you see all the Crespi jerseys. And there's Michael Mason saying, feed me, just keep sending me on these blitzes. I love it, I love it.
3rd and 13. So after Crespi just turned it over on downs moments ago, already a 3rd down, pressure from behind. Henry gets it away. And a flag back in the backfield, not where the ball was thrown, but back in the backfield. I think a late hit maybe on Malik Henry. Keep this drive alive for Westlake.
And that's going to negate a great play by Diego Harris, the sophomore corner. He is probably the best of the cover men.
Roughing the passer, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
They're going to get James Perryman for this roughing the passer call. And like I said, it's going to negate a great play by Harris. But you see him throw the football, and right there, you hit him. You can't do that. You can't do that.
I almost wonder if Perryman was still feeling the emotions and the energy of the play before, because he came on the blitz that we showed on the play before, didn't get any contact on the quarterback, Henry. And he certainly did there, but it was late, and it cost what would have been the punting unit probably coming out for Westlake. Instead, now it was 1st and 10, and a gain there for Westlake to make it 2nd and 5.
You know, it's one thing to play with aggression, but you have to be just a little bit smarter. You can see Morris into the middle of the line there, yanked his shoe off, so he had to come out of the game.
2nd and 5.
So now they're already thin at running back, but Ivan Vega steps in at the running back position, number 27, get his first opportunity of the night.
Henry from the shotgun. Time in the pocket as he steps up, feeling the pressure, and he'll come up just short of the 1st down marker. Let's go back downstairs to Rashawn.
Yeah, litany of cramps over here on the Westlake sideline. Rodriguez was getting hydrated and getting stretched out as well. Meanwhile, his wide receiver counterpart, Jalen Harrison, walked over. He's cramping up. He looks down at Rodriguez. He says, oh, man, are you cramping too? Rodriguez says, yeah, before he starts screaming, and then they both have a good little laugh about that, guys.
Well, I mean, you would think, JJ, that these guys anticipate I'm going to have to play both sides of the ball coming into the night. And as I said, it's not overwhelmingly hot here tonight in Encino.
No, it's not. But remember the week of practice. You're in Westlake. It's hot in Westlake. Really hot in Westlake.
We'll step aside for a timeout here with 1:40 remaining in the 3rd quarter. We're even at 7 between Westlake and Crespi.
If there's one thing everybody's up for, it's burgers and fries. So we figured give the people what they want, right? Only we did it the Fridays way. With fresh, handcrafted burgers like our new Stacked Philly. Stacked is an understatement. On top of that, we'll give you all the seasons, Parmesan, or sweet potato fries you can eat for just $10. You heard that right. $10. Because in here, it's always Friday.
Community Park is a great place. It's a place that brings people together. Allen Hyundai has created a community, bringing people together for more than 65 years. People who share the passion for what Hyundai stands for. The hottest cars on the road today, all backed by America's best warranty. At Allen Hyundai, we match that reliability with unparalleled loyalty, consistency, and community service. We call it the Allen Advantage. Come discover the Allen Advantage only at Allen Hyundai in Laguna Niguel.
No, you are seeing your pictures correctly at the Crespi Cabana. I got carried away. 7-7 between Crespi and Westlake here. Closing moments of the 3rd quarter. They always wear the Hawaiian shirts over there, JJ.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Big 3rd and 2 here for the Warriors. Henry barking out the signals, rolls over to his left, finds a lane to run, and he'll dive forward for enough for a Warriors 1st down.
Well, there's a heads-up play by the young quarterback. Great presence to know the down and distance. He knew exactly where he needed to go. He knew he had to get across the 35-yard line for a first down. And as he started to roll the pocket that time, you saw he said, hey, I can get there. Put his head down and went for it. Heads up play.
1st and 10 from the 35-yard line of the Celts. Pushing forward is Reno DeBrille.
There's been a series of great quarterbacks to come out of Westlake, even going back into the 80s. Casey and Todd Preston were here. Todd was from 88, 89, and 90, a 3-year starter. Casey was 95 to 96. Casey set the that time the school single season mark at 3,600 yards of passing. And then guys like Zach Wasserman followed him, and Rudy Carpenter, who played at Arizona State, led Westlake to a Division IV championship. So Nick Isham, a lot of great quarterbacks here.
Henry back to the other side of the field, and some room to run here for the Warriors, as taking it out to the 14-yard line of Crespi is Jesse Kusha. I think it's the first time we've called his name on the offensive side of the ball tonight.
Yeah, and a really good call, because we talked about the aggression of Crespi. You know, they're coming after the quarterback, they're hitting them. Well, now you take advantage of some of that aggression, roll the pocket one way, get them to flow, and then throw it back the other way to hit a wide open receiver. So, you know, very good play design. Westlake on the move again. Remember, this is a game in the first half completely dominated pretty much for the most part by Crespi. Now the tide is completely turned, you know, just off of the turnover. Turnovers create momentum. Right now, Westlake has momentum.
1st and 10 for the Warriors from the 15-yard line of Crespi. Three receivers for Henry. Looking out to the near side, looking for the corner, and into the back of the end zone. And what a catch for a touchdown for the Warriors. Cole Hare, who made some big grabs in the first half, gives Westlake their first lead of the night.
Wow.
And what a throw.
I mean, that was another one of those just, you know, slingshots from Malik Henry. Just threw a laser right over the head of the defender, and Cole Hare goes up and makes a tremendous catch. Just a fade route, and it's actually really good coverage. But Hare does a nice job of not committing to the football until late. That was the key to that reception. He did not go up early and give the defender a chance to react or even get an arm up to knock that ball away, and he comes up with a great reception.
A little bit of a mismatch, too. DJ Beavers, the outside linebacker, the junior, trying to cover a much speedier Hare.
Yeah, you can see that the kind of catch that he had to make. He had to sacrifice his body as he went up for the ball. But watch it here in the ISO. It's going to be a wheel route. He's going to go up on the out and then wheel. And then now, last minute, he goes up. You see that? Last minute, he goes up with his hands, and then the defender cannot react in time to make the play. DJ Beavers was in great coverage there. But Hare, last minute reaction, catches the football, falls down, touchdown, Westlake. And just like that, it's a 7-point lead for the Warriors.
He came in with 12 receptions coming into the night for 157 yards. That's the touchdown catch for Cole Hare. And by my count, that's got to be at least his 6th, maybe 7th catch here tonight. He's been the popular target for Malik Henry.
Well, now Crespi finds themselves in the hole. I mean, I just can't believe the way that this game has gone. Really dominated by the Celts up until this point.
And now it's Crespi's turn to respond. Chris May, good return out to the 25-yard line. And I overestimated just a little bit, JJ. In fact, on the night for Cole Hare, including the touchdown catch, 5 receptions for 39 yards here tonight.
All right, now, here we go. Here's Troy Thomas. You have to get some consistency out of this offense.
But you don't deviate from your game plan, right?
Not time to deviate at all. He has to mix run and pass. His offensive line has really been, you know, sort of massaging the defensive front of Westlake. You have to continue to do that, but right now Westlake has, you know, 8 guys up in the box. It's going to be tough sledding to run the football.
Celts will get a chance to run one play before the third quarter comes to a close, and one play might be all they need just pushed out in front of his own bench was Marvell Tell. On the quick hitter here to the near side, and he does the rest with his legs and his athleticism to move the chains out to midfield. So we're heading toward the fourth quarter. It was just 7-0 Celts at the break. Each team has responded here in the second half so far, but it's Westlake who lead 14-7 over Crespi. Crespi with the ball and driving when we come back.
You gonna drop in?
I think I'm gonna drop into Norm's for the New York steak and shrimp dinner.
Steaks hand cut in our kitchen, 6 golden fried shrimp, vegetable, baked potato, soup, and salad. Only $10.99.
You gonna drop in tomorrow?
To Norm's.
Norm's is SoCal. Norm's Restaurants, where life happens 24/7.
Okay, it's the weekend, and to pack all the stuff you want to do into 48 hours, you're going to need a truck that stays on the clock. Hello, Ford F-150. It's the best combo of fuel economy and capability. That's called EcoBoost, folks. Plus, all the bells and whistles that'll make your buddies drool. Hey, we don't just do weekends. We own weekends.
Now get 0% financing plus $2,000 cash towards your trade on F-150 during the Built Ford Tough Sales event.
The greatest thrills and excitement are awaiting you right in your own backyard. The CIF Southern Section and your SoCal Ford dealers encourage you to go to a game at your local high school. Unbelievable action is right in your community. You'll be amazed at what you've been missing. Supporting your local school has never been more fun. Go to a game this week.
Malik Henry, what a change of halves for him. In the first half, he was struggling. Could not get enough time to throw. Pressure was getting to him. Held the ball a little bit longer than his coach would have liked. Unable to find the open receivers down the field. Just did anything he could just to manage his way through. But in the second half, we're seeing a completely different quarterback. Lasers to the sideline on out routes. Then he drops back, stands in the pocket confidently, throws a perfect pinpoint touch pass over the top to Rodriguez for the first touchdown of the game. And this missile right over the head of DJ Beavers was the second touchdown of the game for Westlake. So if you need a quarterback and you want to watch a quarterback grow up instantly in one night, you're watching Malik Henry, my friend.
Yeah, we've seen that. Definitely, I would agree, a tale of two different halves for the sophomore quarterback so far here tonight. Now it's about Connor McMahon and what can he do with the Crespi offense going the other way. As we are underway here in the fourth quarter, John Jackson, Mark Rogandino, Rashawn Haylock, and the rest of our Ford CIF Southern Section Game of the Week crew on hand here from Crespi High School out in Encino, California, where Westlake just moments ago taking a 14-7 lead. And now the Celts looking to delight their fans scattered along this near sideline with another long drive. Starks buries his head up the middle, picks up about 5, maybe 6.
As you mentioned, very important they don't deviate from the original game plan, which is to run the football into the heart of this Westlake defense. Did a nice job so far on the night. It's just the downs like this are going to be the critical ones. It's third down, 5. You're probably in 4-down territory. If you can pick up, enough yardage here to make it like a 4th and 1. So you really need 4 yards here, and it's a big play call.
Big block. McMahon trying to find his receiver in Marvell Tell. Pass knocked down, incomplete.
Yeah, that's really good coverage because McMahon held that ball to the last possible minute, trying to wait for a receiver on cover. Once again, pressure in his face. Good job keeping him in on the edge. It was Cliffman that sort of forced him back in and applied the pressure to force him to hurry the throw maybe a second or two prior to when he wanted to throw the football. In any event, it forces a kicking situation, a punting situation for Crespi. Westlake will get the ball back once again, and now the clock starts to play a role.
Punt is blocked and picked up in the backfield. Jonathan Wiebacher tried to get it off, and it's Lexi Isham who comes up to block it. And what a change of events here.
And their life has been completely deflated out of this crowd. What a play by Isham. He's able to come from the outside. That is a textbook. He put the pressure on the outside, ducked inside of the wingman, and puts his hands right on the football. That is exactly how you teach to block a punt. You go and put your hands directly on top of the football. Don't rough the kicker. It's a clean block and great field position for the Warriors.
May did recover it there for Crespi, but it turns the ball over, and the 1st and 10 opportunity for Westlake. Pass falls incomplete.
One thing has been a signature move or a signature trend for Coach Jim Baker is any time after a turnover, he's going to be aggressively and try to go after the dagger right away. That time he had a deep out route call for Rodriguez, and Henry, still maintaining the hot hand, delivered a strike, but he went right through the hands of Rodriguez, a ball that should have been caught.
Hasn't been a ton of success for Westlake running the ball tonight, but we knew that was part of the equation for them coming into the game. Malik Henry back to throw, and this time skips one into the hands of Andre Bocelli.
And he had Bocelli as well. So the first time, the first throw he had Rodriguez, the ball went right through his hands, and that time he had Bocelli open in single coverage on the outside, and he underthrew him. But the one thing that we are seeing from Malik Henry is now he stands in the pocket a lot more confident. You see Bocelli almost got his hands under that. If he'd have sold it a little bit more, he might have had a chance to get that. He'd have convinced me, I can tell you that.
3rd and 10 now for Westlake. We're a little over 90 seconds into the 4th quarter. Henry feels the pressure, scrambles out to his right, and he throws a dart for a complete pass, but a flag on the play.
And another flag right where Malik Henry threw the football. The completion is good enough for a 1st down. It's a nice catch by, who was that on the reception? Was it Kushi on his reception again?
Pass interference, defense. Pass was completed. It'll be a tack on, half the distance to the goal line. 1st down.
So pass interference, actually, JJ, and that'll allow it to be a complete pass.
Yeah, I was a little bit confused, though. If it's pass interference, let's see. It's definitely not pass interference. The question was, I think it was roughing. I think it was a mix-up by the official. It should have been roughing call.
Morris on the handoff, and a chance to extend the lead here for Westlake. And he's down to the 1-yard line.
We talked about Morris not really being a factor because Crespi done such a good job at stopping the run. But this time he gets the handoff and cuts back against the grain. And then with a little extra effort, he takes the ball down from the 3, inside down to the 1-yard line. So now they're really knocking on the door.
1st and goal here for Westlake, with a chance to make it a 2-score lead, possibly by a couple of touchdowns, and they do. The Warriors, from 7-0 down going into halftime, have come back and made it a 21-7 lead for Westlake, pending the point after.
Mark, I know we always talk about momentum being so important in all football, but especially in high school football because the kids are playing with a lot of emotion. But it's very rare that you see a game swing so fast, off of, really just one big play. You can see this dive right into the middle of the defense, and now all of a sudden that Westlake line, they couldn't get any push at the beginning of this game, now starting to push defenders back 3 and 4 yards.
Reno DeBrille, the junior, the up man there, taking it and burying his head for the 1-yard touchdown run.
Remember, this is a team in Westlake. They're without a couple key pieces. Hunter Maddox is out of the game. He's a tight end. He didn't play the game. 6'4", 255 pounds. He's out with the school suspension. Then you had Tanner Gee, who had an MCL injury in week 1. He is not available for tonight. He's number 7. He's not available for tonight. So they're missing a couple key pieces that will be back. And with those guys back, this team can only get better. So right now, for a young team, they're really starting to take off. And that's sort of the thing with young teams. They thrive on emotion. If things are going good, they play good. If things are going bad, they often play bad as well. So right now, Westlake has clearly the momentum. And if you're Crespi, you got to find somebody to step up, make a big play, and try to get momentum back on your side, because as you can see, when you have momentum on your side, a lot of things can happen very quickly.
No, still plenty of time. Just over 10 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter as Westlake kick it off. Bobbled for a moment by Marvell Tell, trying to get away from the eluding tacklers, gets close to the 20-yard line, and then brought down at about the 18, and that's where the Crespi offense will take to the field. Yeah, it seems like literally just moments ago we were looking up and it was 7-7. All of a sudden now it's 21-7 in favor of Westlake.
I mean, the vibe going into halftime, I'm sure for both coaches, was, you know what, if you're Westlake, you're happy to get in at the half at 7-0 because Crespi the offensive line was starting to take their toll on your defense. If you're Troy Thomas, you couldn't wait to get back out here in the second half because you said, hey, my guys are starting to get some good push on the offensive line, control the line of scrimmage. Now, this game has turned into anything but that.
McMahon coming in underneath to find Nathan Washington, who comes up with the grab. He'll pick up about 7 on the catch. Washington, the 6'2", 173-pound senior receiver. They're calling it a 6-yard gain, so it'll be 2nd and 4 now for Crespi. Still plenty of time to stick to your game plan, though, correct, JJ?
You're running
right there, right?
Yeah, you're running out of time. You need to get first down to get that clock stopped.
And that's one way to get first downs, as the surge ahead there by Quentin Johnson will move the chains out to the 32-yard line of the Celts.
See, now as the clock stops and you get the chains moved, it gives you a little bit of time to get the next play call in. But right now you have to, think speed up mode. You have 9 minutes left, and you only have probably 3 possessions left in this game if you're Crespi.
1st and 10, McMahon, play action, comes back on the slant route as Marvell Tell makes the catch, close to another first down for Crespi.
There you go.
And in fact, it is.
Now the clock will stop once again. You can get up and get the next play called. By the time the clock starts, you only wear, you might be 10 to 15 seconds tops into the play clock, and you can start to get things rolling. Trey Thomas, who works with the defense, calls the defense. Not that he's not interested in the offense, he's just in charge of the defense.
Here's Jakes. A little out route, making the catch, and another first down for Crespi as they come across midfield, and they'll spot the ball at the 46-yard line of the Warriors.
I'm really impressed by Jakes and the way that he can really get down the field. I mean, from the tight end spot, he's able to give you a good quick option, and he's usually going to get matched up against linebackers, because right now the challenge for Westlake is to try to slow down some of these receivers for Crespi. So the tight end spot will have a good matchup with the linebacker usually matched up on him, and that's a mismatch for Jakes.
3 receivers available here for McMahon. Handoff there for Johnson, pushes ahead for a gain of about 5. Obviously, JJ, they got to mix in a few run plays here and there at this point right now.
Just want to keep them honest, and also what it does is, especially on first down, now it gives you 2nd and 5, and now it just brings a lot more plays from your playbook into the fold. There's a lot of options on 3rd and 5. The further the down and distance goes, obviously the less and less plays that will work effectively versus long yardage situation.
This will be 2nd and a short 6 under pressure. And flags come flying in. All sorts of Westlake Warriors surrounding quarterback Connor McMahon. Isham hobbling as he heads toward the Westlake sideline.
Penalty flag in the backfield.
And you can see the
no signal has been given yet, but the way that Crespi is retreating.
Holding offense, 10-yard penalty from the end of the run, 2nd down.
A 10-yard penalty, and that is a spot foul. So that's a big one.
Probably could have called it on a couple of different offensive linemen for Crespi, but it was Adam Fusilier. Rolling out, and McMahon throwing to his right as he was rolling out to his left to pick up a huge chunk of yards to come back.
Well, yeah, they narrowed it from 3rd and about 24, and they're going to get at least a little bit more than half of it back. A nice catch in the open seam, but that was a killer holding penalty because the penalty occurred about 7 yards in the backfield, so they move it 10 yards from that spot, and that brought up like a 3rd and 24. So now they've cut that down to what seems to be a manageable 3rd and 9.
Big 3rd and 9 here for Crespi, looking on the out route into the bright lights, and incomplete, knocked away by Lexi Isham at the last moment, just before Christian Pearson brought it in for the catch. And a flag comes in late.
Yeah, and this might be against Isham for taunting, and that would be a big penalty against Westlake. A nice corner route, one-on-one coverage. He dropped the ball perfectly into Pearson, and Pearson has it right there, but Isham's hand's in the middle, and Isham is able to get the ball out of his hand. The referee calls that incomplete, and right here is where the taunting call was made.
Looking back,
I don't know, not much of a taunting from what we saw. It was a celebration, I understand that.
Sure.
Dead ball, unsportsmanlike, defense. 15-yard penalty results in a first down.
That's a huge call. I don't necessarily agree with it from what we saw on our camera. I don't know if anything happened after that or there's any trash talking to the sideline. But the chest bump, yeah, maybe the long stare at the sideline, and that's exactly where he nailed him.
It's such a fine line.
It is, but the one thing is you can celebrate. You can high five, you can body high five, chest bump, whatever you want to call it.
Like we do up here in the booth.
Like we do once in a while. But you can't look at the other sideline or look at the other people when you do it.
So a big penalty sets up 1st and 10 here for Crespi. McMahon looking for the end zone, has his man, and it's a touchdown for Crespi! Washington with the touchdown grab, his 2nd of the season.
What a big play. And you get this sort of sense that when momentum starts to shift, both of these offensive coordinators from both sides say, look, we're going to go for it right now. McMahon had one-on-one coverage with Washington on the outside. Washington is 6'2", 173 pounds, a tall target. And the throw is over the outside shoulder of the defensive back, which gave the receiver the advantage. And that narrows the score to another 7-point game at 21-14.
Dylan Clump comes on for the point after, but what a throw here from Connor McMahon to link up with Nate Washington. Crespi within 7.
Mr. Freeney, welcome to the neighborhood.
You guys live around here?
Yeah.
I just don't understand.
Should I start smoking weed?
It's television. Everybody's hot. Look at the cameraman right now. Who these guys?
Right? Locked and loaded?
Sit down! Eskimo brother.
Thank you, Beth.
.14 with just over 7 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. Westlake leading, and they'll get the ball and their offense back out on the field in just a moment. But let's go back and take a look at the touchdown catch there for Nathan Washington. I don't know if this was originally the route he was going to run, but so much time there for McMahon, and he picks out his man in the corner of the end zone.
There's been several times tonight where McMahon has had a lot of time to throw, and whenever you give a quarterback that kind of time, he's going to find open receivers. This time, he just was able to step up, and he just saw one-on-one coverage. I'll give my guy a chance. And by giving him a chance, you see him throw the ball over his outside shoulder, and receivers love that because now I can judge the ball. As a receiver, I'm looking back. I know where the ball is going to land. I make the adjustment at the last minute. Washington did exactly that. They cap off 9 plays, 81 yards, and a much-needed touchdown in just under 3 minutes.
Battle of two teams with 500 records, 2-2 coming into tonight's action. Let's go ahead and take a look at Crespi's schedule, brought to you by CarMax. CarMax start here. Big game coming up after tonight. Number 5, Vista Murrieta, as Crespi will hit the road for their game next week. They've got to take care of business here tonight, and then at Vista Murrieta before they open up their league schedule in the Sarah League on October the 18th at Loyola.
Yeah, and that's when the league gets started. It's a difficult league that Crespi is in.
So Westlake will get the ball back.
Yeah, they made
Andre Bocelli standing back on his goal line. Jalen Harrison back there as well. Klumpf with the kick. And that one could actually roll out of bounds, and it does. Big mistake there. And what does that do for the momentum, JJ? Moments ago, they cut it to a 7-point lead, and now they're going to spot great field position here for the visiting Westlake side.
Yeah, they're going to have a good field position. The ball will be at the 35-yard line. And let's take a look at the receivers from Westlake and what they've been able to do tonight. Nick Rodriguez had a big night, 3 catches, 44 yards, a touchdown. Cole Hare, couldn't have had another, the big touchdown catch by him as well. With 5 catches on the night, and Bocelli as well with 3. So a nice job of spreading the ball around, and a lot of guys getting touches for this Westlake Warrior offense.
Henry standing tall in the pocket and throwing the deep one for Bocelli. Takes it inside the 15 and down to about the 10. He was able to beat the double coverage, this time slipping in behind Anthony Doxey, and a huge gain for the Warriors.
Well, for a minute, our editing department right in the truck was getting ready to change that to 1 touchdown for Bocelli because he was open behind the receiver here. Another strike thrown by Malik Henry, and that has become a constant theme here in the second half, but his confidence continues to grow. 55 yards on that one.
What was he at about on the graphic we showed you? I think he was around 22 yards. So doubling his total. Here's Morris on the handoff. And he'll run it down to about the 8.
A second down here, and what a second half. Remember, it was 7-0 at halftime. We were begging for some offense. Now neither team can stop each other.
2nd and goal for Westlake. And if ever Crespi defensively needed a big stop, it would be now. A turnover would be ideal, but they can ill afford to give up another touchdown. Malik Henry sensing the pressure, gets it back to about the line of scrimmage to set up 3rd and goal.
Tell you what, that was a nice decision by Henry. We're up here standing at an angle where we can sort of see the back of the quarterback and his read that he was trying to read to the right side of the defense. And I tell you, for a minute, I thought he had an open window to get the ball into Rodriguez on a slant. It looked open from here. But he was smart enough not to throw the football because as he started to make the look, you're going to see the outside linebacker, number 6, it was Beavers, that was going to duck under that route. And if he'd have thrown that inside slant to Rodriguez, it would have been a pick 6.
Dead ball, delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty.
And that hurts. Okay, now, if you're Westlake, the most important thing here is to walk away with points. So the 5-yard penalty will move you back to the 12-yard line, but you are definitely within field goal range here. So It's third down. If I'm Coach Baker, I run a play to get the ball in the middle of the field to make the field goal attempt a lot easier.
3rd and goal now for Westlake. They're going to go to the air and into the end zone looking for Rodriguez, who had it slip through his fingertips. Would have been his 2nd touchdown catch of the night.
And he's pulled up with another cramp. That leg's still bothering him, but that was a catch. A ball that should have been caught. They come back with the same play, the double slants. They get the coverage they want. You can see the ball just...
Maybe a quarter of a step behind it, but still a catchable ball.
Yeah, just a hair high. But I tell you, if there's somebody who wants to kick the extra field goal here, it's Robledo, who has set the record a year ago.
Call it a 29-yarder, and Robledo just splits the uprights to make it a 10-point cushion with a little less than 5.5 minutes left here in the 4th. So after being held scoreless in the opening 2 quarters here tonight in the 4th CIF Southern Section game of the week, all Westlake has done is put 24 up, and we're not even done in the second half. Go back to that 3rd and goal play just a moment ago.
The slant to Rodriguez, and it's just a little bit high. It was a hair high. As a receiver, I'm always going to analyze how tough the catch is, of course, and all the things going on. It's a ball that he would tell you he should have caught.
I was going to say, I think you would tell me that you would have caught it, and I think he would say he should have caught it.
For the record, I never would drop a ball in the end zone. I just loved my name in the paper too much.
So 24-14, still plenty of time, but Crespi's going to need to get the ball and again accelerate the tempo just a little bit here on their next series.
Yeah, well, how about really the year for Malik Henry? I mean, he comes in as a sophomore, and of course there's great upside, and everybody recognizes that. But despite being a sophomore, your seniors don't want to hear about upside. They're in their last year here at Westlake. Well, right now they are watching him grow up and become the quarterback that everybody knew he could be from the beginning.
Chris May breaks one, but there's flags all over the field. Isham trying to chase him down from behind. May looking him off. He'll make his way into the end zone, but something tells me this is coming all the way back.
I'll tell you what, Troy Thomas is not going to be able to sleep tonight. He's going to wake up in the middle of the night and just yellow flags are going to come flying from every direction in his dreams. This is a great return, but you're going to see the penalty right in front of you, and that is, I don't know, did he hog tie him? I mean, that is no question holding.
Holding on the return, 10-yard penalty, spot of the foul, first down, Crespi.
I mean, at least if you're going to hold him, make it a little bit more difficult for the official. I mean, you're going to see right in your screen, right there, and that is a takedown. They're going to call it every single time.
Defensive back and wide receiver Brian Alex, who was whistled. And there was actually another flag that came in later on the return. There probably could have been another hold that was flagged against Crespi.
Dead ball, delay a game, offense, 5-yard penalty.
And now compounding things. The dead ball delay a game penalty will march it back another 5 yards. Make it 10. Either way, they spot the ball at Crespi's own 10-yard line. They're going to need a 90-yard drive, or at least a solid drive here to put some sort of points on the board to keep it make it a one-score game. McMahon from the shotgun. Starks in the backfield. McMahon looking downfield, comes underneath to pick out Marvell Tell. Pass goes incomplete as it falls around the 25-yard line.
Well, time becomes really of the essence, obviously, for Crespi. And, right now, what you would equate to a 2-minute offense. The most important thing here is to pick up first downs. You're not going to get, it's going to be hard to get the quick strike now. Obviously, that's the last thing that Westlake wants to give up, but they will give you those underneath intermediate throws that McMahon has been making all night. So those throws are still there. Those are the ones you have to take.
Rolling out to his left is McMahon, throwing on the run, and Tell comes up with the grab. Did he make the catch? He did, spotting the ball out to about the 17-yard line.
Yeah, but he did not get out of bounds. So the clock will continue to run. He's going to get on the roll, just to roll out to give him a little bit more vision, get away from some of the blitzers. But that was an outstanding catch by Tell. The unfortunate thing, he's not able to get out of bounds because he could not keep his feet.
Well, and you said that the clock continues to run as it does, and look how much time it's taking for Crespi to get off their next play. A big 3rd and 8 here. Have to pick up the first down. McMahon looking underneath, finds Washington, who makes the catch, and enough for a Crespi first down. That will stop the clock for a moment with 4:09 left here in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, and a lot of people at home watching are like, oh, why aren't they in the hurry-up 2-minute offense? Well, this is one of the challenges when you're a new coach that joins a new program. You know, there's only so much you can get in a short amount of time, and 2-minute offense is probably the last thing you're going to work on, and obviously right now that's exactly what they need.
McMahon again finds the underneath man in Starks, eludes the first tackler, barrels past another one, and gets out to the 30-yard line. Short gain of about 4 yards. Crespi does have all 3 of their timeouts, and I believe they're going to use one right here.
The clock is stopped. I think we might have another penalty call.
There is no flag on the play. The pass was behind the line of scrimmage. There is no ineligible downfield.
Oh, okay. They were initially going to call for one of the linemen being downfield, which had been an ineligible receiver downfield. Linemen are not allowed to go past the line of scrimmage prior to the ball being thrown. But if the ball's thrown in the backfield, they do have the leeway to go down the field, and so that's why they had to pick up the flag.
3 receivers in the set here for Crespi. McMahon dropping back in the pocket. Plenty of room to run. Coming all the way across the 40 to the 45, past midfield and out at the 47-yard line.
Despite the win, but despite if they win or lose, the one thing that has really impressed me tonight is the way Connor McMahon has really navigated and managed this game. He chose to run the ball when it was the right time. He stood in the pocket when he knows he has protection. He's made a lot of throws in the middle of the field, which are the most difficult throws for quarterbacks to make, especially at the high school level. He's done a great job of managing this game.
Here's McMahon again, stepping up in the pocket, looking to go up and over the top. Has a man there. There was contact. And a flag comes in late. Zerai Leacock was the intended receiver.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, this is a questionable call because Leacock turned, the ball was thrown up the field, and let's wait for the official call.
Pass interference, defense, 15-yard penalty, results in a first down.
This one I have trouble with because Leacock is going up the field looking for the ball over his right shoulder. Now watch, he's gonna go up the field on the post, and he's gonna be looking for the ball over his shoulder. But see, he turns back into the defender, initiates a contact, and the defender gets called for pass interference.
I think that's exactly what Tyler Savageau is saying, is that
Savageau's like, I'm going straight for the ball. He never changed his path or direction. Leacock clearly initiated the contact. That was when the officials missed.
1st and 10, McMahon under pressure, has to scramble out of the pocket, throwing deep, looking for Marvell Tell. And probably a good pass in terms of throwing it only where his receiver could get to it. Instead, it falls incomplete.
All right, with 3 minutes and 10 seconds, so they need to score and score quickly to save some time. Now, remember, the Celts still have 3 timeouts. Pass rush, and looks like they might have got away with a hold there on the You know, on the defensive end, that time they did not grab the jersey, and so the officials were like, look, I'm tired of throwing these flags.
Adam Facilier, the senior left tackle. McMahon on the out. And right in and out of the hands of Zerai Leacock, the sophomore receiver who was part of the big play, or big sequence, I should say, moments ago. Can't pull that one in. It'll set up 3rd and 10.
Yeah, that was a ball that should have been caught. 4-down territory, obviously, with the 3 minutes and 6 seconds left. Leacock into the flat. Then, you know, that's one he'll tell you that he should have come up with.
Hearing those footsteps coming over his left shoulder.
Yeah, thinking a little bit run before the catch. A lot of times the receiver, you say, hey, I know where I'm at. I know that, you know, the team needs a big play. Ran before he caught it.
Under pressure is McMahon. Tried to throw it away, never got it even close back to the line of scrimmage, and he took a hit right on the sideline.
Yeah, there's a penalty flag right where McMahon was tackled, but this one is going to be for intentional grounding. Because McMahon at the end of this play is going to just try to throw the ball out of bounds just to get the incompletion. You see it right there, and that is going to be intentional grounding.
Intentional grounding on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Lost it down. 4th down.
So that'll bring about 4th down, and Crespi hanging by a thin thread here with 3:01 left in the 4th.
Now, a quick update on the scores. Mater Dei winning 14-7 over Edison late in the 4th quarter, and St. Bonaventure loses to Alemany. Alemany beats St. Bonaventure 38-24.
Ooh. And remember, St. Bonaventure faces these Westlake Warriors next week.
And that is always a good game.
Well, I can't imagine, JJ, coming back to our game here, you have too many plays in the book for 4th, and I think it's going to be 4th and 27 here for Crespi. They need to get all the way down to the Westlake 22-yard line.
Yeah, just for clarification, 38-24 Alemany over St. Bonaventure, just to make sure that you know that the matchup's coming next week between those two.
The point is Alemany wins.
The Alemany wins. St. Bonnie, coming off of a loss next week. And Troy Thomas is going to have to find a way to have his team regroup. And he knows it's there with this team. He talked about better practices. They've been practicing better. There's just too many penalties tonight for Crespi, especially for a Troy Thomas coach team. Not really typical. And I know the ones that he's going to be frustrated with are the roughing the quarterback, the blocking in the back when you see the guy's letters on his back of his jersey. Those are going to be the ones that irk him. It's not going to be the offensive lineman holding, in the interior. He's not going to be upset about that. That's an effort penalty. The ones that are going to kill him are those bonehead penalties that really cost his team tonight.
Well, and especially when you think about momentum-wise, even the stats after the first half, what they look like, they should have been ahead by more than 7-0 heading into the locker room. 4th and a long way. McMahon into the pocket, coming over the middle, and that ball will fall incomplete again, intended for Zerai Leacock, as Isham, who had a costly penalty that led to a score for Crespi earlier here in the second half, this time knocks the ball away and promptly puts his hands behind his back and runs back to his own sideline.
Yeah, that was a smart move. He said, I'm not going to fall for the same thing twice. Good pressure once again on McMahon. And it's just a desperation throw. Just good coverage down the field. Isham, as you mentioned, in great position to knock that ball away. This time, no celebration. Just get off the field.
JJ, that's 4th down, and that ball is still 10 yards, though, from the first down marker.
Yeah, they tried for a big play, and things just started to break down. He was just trying to find any open receiver at that point.
Morris will get a chance to run the ball, and clipped up in the backfield, loss of about 2, maybe 3, but that's just fine.
Timeout, Crespi. That's your second of the half.
That was Lawless with a tackle for loss right there.
Stay tuned after the game for the High School Spotlight post-game show presented by Del Taco. Rashawn will be on the field with post-game reactions from the players, and JJ and I will have highlight stats and analysis from tonight's action. It's all coming up next on the High School Spotlight post-game show presented by Del Taco.
Hey, take a look at Westlake's schedule. It doesn't get any easier after tonight. They have St. Bonnie next week, is ranked number 14. Of course, they lost to Alamany tonight, so they probably won't be 14 by the time they face them. But in any case, it'll be a good game. I mean, last year, when the two faced each other, St. Bonnie was able to come up victorious against Westlake, 31-23. And the year before, it was Westlake winning 35-14. And then, of course, they've had some epic battles in championship games, have these two schools, and in the playoffs, when they go deep in the playoffs as well, with, you know, both teams sort of, you know, lobbing. In 2010, Westlake won, and St. Bonnie won the regular season, Westlake won in the playoffs, so it's been a back and forth.
Bad snap there, but Morris alert as he falls on it, the senior tailback. Big loss, but it's...
Timeout, Crespi. That's our last time out of the half.
Really cosmetic at this point.
And remember, Westlake competes in the Marmonte League East. And so in the East is Newberry Park, Royal, Simi Valley, and St. Bonnie. And so next week, as has been most years, Westlake and St. Bonnie, the two powerhouses in that Marmonte League East. And, of course, them facing next week makes that a critical game, and not only for next week, but most likely will have implications on who wins the East. And remember, in the Marmonte League, they are separated by East and West. On the western side, you know, the Oaks Christians of the world sit there. And then what happens in Week 10, the two champions of the East and West, they face each other to come up with the ultimate league champion. So all that coming in the Marmonte League in upcoming weeks.
Did we have Marmonte League in our Twitter poll for the night? Trinity,
we did.
South Coast, Marmonte.
We did. I don't think that they will win, but they were in the poll. Still got to go with the Trinity with St. John Bosco and Mater Dei being ranked number 1 and number 2.
3rd and 23. They give it to Morris again. He'll fumble the ball loose. Crespi trying to fall on it right in front of the Westlake sideline. I think the ball actually squirts out of bounds, which is a fortunate break for the Westlake Warriors.
Well, that could have been a real twist of turn of events if they were able to scoop that ball up and run it into the end zone for a touchdown. Wow. So Morris has the ball in the right arm. It's in the outside arm. And right there, just a tackle on the football. And I can't tell who that was, but if they would have been able to pick that ball up and get a little scoop and score right there, they really would have turned things around quickly.
DJ Beavers had the ball just bouncing around underneath his feet, but couldn't find it. The ensuing punt on 4th down will be down by Westlake as Trenton Padilla gets to it. And still a little bit of a glimmer of hope here for the Celts. 2:20 remaining in the 4th quarter, and decent field position from their own 37-yard line, 38-yard line.
Stranger things have happened. But I tell you, one thing that we haven't given credit for, the Westlake defense. I mean, through all of this, and trust me, it's been a lot. I thought that there was a point where Crespi was going to run away with this game. Through all of this, they've only given up 14 points, and they played very opportune defense.
McMahon on 1st and 10, and he throws a pick right into the hands of Nick Rodriguez, who is then tackled down at the 45-yard line of Crespi, and that should just about do it because no timeouts left for Crespi. And you see the reaction there from head coach Jim Banker.
Very nice job, McMahon. Just a miscommunication with his receivers and threw it right to Rodriguez. Looks like to be just maybe a little bit of confusion, and it appeared like he was expecting one of the receivers to go in. Maybe trying to get the ball to Miller, not sure. In any case, Rodriguez with the game-clinching interception.
First interception of the year for Nick Rodriguez, who also had a touchdown catch earlier here tonight. Well, it's the first of a rebuilding process back in charge here for Troy Thomas as the head football coach of Crespi. But, he talked about it with us earlier. We talked about JJ at the onset of our broadcast about he has a bigger picture in mind. You look at the Crespi motto there.
You enter Crespi Carmelite as a boy. If you care to struggle and work at it, you'll leave as a man. It's called being a Crespi man, and he often refers to that and says that his players have to become that. And so he knows there's going to be some growing pains, and he knows that in order to put your stamp or your staple on a program, there's going to be a lot of changes, and people are going to have to get used to a different way of training and a different way of life. And he's committed to get these guys there. He said that when he went to Servite, he had to make, obviously changes to what he wanted Servite to become. But he thought that Servite was a little bit further along in the process, a little bit closer from a team perspective than he feels that Crespi is right now. He feels like there's a little bit long way to go with this team. And surprisingly, though, he says he has a lot of buy-in, and just stereotyping here, a lot of buy-in from a lot of the younger guys. The younger guys are often, let's say like in the case of Marvell Tell. He's the type of guy that he's sort of leading by example. He's a younger guy. He's not supposed to be one of the leaders. The seniors are supposed to be those guys. But in the case of the makeup of this team, just by coincidence, there's a lot of younger guys that sort of make up the leadership on this team, which will bode well for this team in the future. And as we've seen, this is a team that starts several underclassmen.
The penalty is declined, 4th down.
Well, and what I thought was telling, to put a bow tie on it here, of talking about Troy Thomas and him changing or bringing the culture back to what Crespi had for so many years, is he said in his 12 years of coaching previously, he had never canceled a practice, and he canceled 4 practices this year with Crespi. And he said that because he figured they had bigger things to work on in terms of issues to address than just talking about X's and O's and how to run plays out on the football field.
Yeah, it wasn't a canceling of practice because, hey, it's raining outside or it's cold. It was just that, like you said, more pressing issues that were more important than football. And
Timeout. Offense.
And that's really what Troy Thomas is about. I mean, we've grown up, and I've been around him for years now. It seems like it's forever. And, you start to understand who the man is. And when you understand who the man is, then when he says stuff like that, you understand that, hey, look, it's not about football. I mean, we're here to play football. We want to win football games. But it's really about teaching this team or these players to really grow up and become what he knows they can be, and they will be. He said it's just a learning process, and he said over the last couple weeks he's seen progress from this team. So, with that being said, he'll go back and analyze this film. Trust me, he will not be able to sleep at night because he's going to see yellow flags flying across in his dreams. But with that being said, he knows that this team has a good foundation and something to build on.
And, obviously, maybe a little added extra icing on the cake in this one, because the guy standing across on the other sideline is in his 25th season and not only coached Troy Thomas, talking about Jim Bankert there, but he also had him on his staff at Westlake back in, I think, 1999.
A lot of credit goes to Jim Bankert for just being able to get a team on the field that was motivated to play. I mean, when we came in and we started going down the rosters, like, who are you going to play? He was down to the 5th string quarterback. I mean, running back. I was like, wait a minute, 5 guys? Yeah, he said 4 guys went down in the first 4 games. And, to the point it was like he was like searching, like, who's going to play next? I don't even know if he, could put all the names together. There were so many guys hurt. He was just sort of throwing guys in there. So, I think that he did a great job of, having his team come on the road, first of all, and, against a very good team, and have them perform at a very high level, and most importantly, go into the half. And trust me, there's no way this Westlake team went into the half confident. Right? They knew that they were reeling a little bit. They did not play a very good first half, but they're able to have them come out and put the second half together as they have. It's great coaching, and just a sign of why these 2 guys are such great coaches. It's just fun to be around and fun to watch this level of play.
4th down here for Westlake. Took a little while for Bankert and the Warriors to figure out exactly what they wanted to do here. They'll snap it back, and Rodriguez will actually step in as the punter. A little pooch kick, bounces at about the 16-yard line. May will pick it up, and he'll run it out to the 23-yard line. Time for 1, maybe 2 more plays for Crespi.
Yeah, so Jim Bankert, I know he's like, whoo. It's a totally different feel from when he went into halftime. I can tell you that. I've seen him coach long enough, and he does a great job of turning this team around, keeping them confident. We talked about the youth that's on both sides, but in his case, he was faced with a lot of injuries.
Well, JJ, I mean, you look at this Westlake team prior to last year where they went 6-5. They had gone 40-3 over the previous 3 seasons, including winning a couple of CIF titles. So things are a little different right now for the Warriors. As he told us, it's a young team. McMahon with his final toss of the night, and it lands in the hands of Nate Washington, who had a touchdown catch earlier in the evening. But as the clock hits all zeros, it's a 24-14 win for the Westlake Warriors as they improve to 3-2, and that awards Jim Bankert his 213th career win in the CIF Southern Section. The two guys meet for just a moment there in the middle part of the field, and obviously a little tougher for Troy Thomas than it is for Bankert, who comes out on the winning end of this one.
Yeah, we really just saw the tale of two halves. And, you know, in the case of Crespi, in the first half, they had 7 points, but you felt like it should have been more, especially the way they dominated in terms of total yards. They had 233 yards at halftime to about 90 for Westlake, but in the second half, completely different Westlake squad. They came out here, credit Coach Bankert, able to bring him in at halftime and change things around. Defensively, they were to get some pressure on the quarterback. They covered well in the secondary and ended up coming out with a win. And so I know Coach Bankert is extremely happy to come away with this one, because things earlier in the week, he was definitely struggling just to get a healthy 11 players on the field.
Well, and you could almost hear it when he spoke with Rashawn Haylock coming into the second half. He was worried about that Crespi line and the push that they were going to have to wear down his front line on the defensive side of the ball. And obviously they stepped up to the challenge here in the second half, keeping Crespi with only 7 points in the second half, 14 total in the game, and offensively putting up 24 of their own for a 24-14 win. It was a good night in the second half for Malik Henry. He came into the night having just 4 touchdown passes in the previous 4 games, but he has 2 tonight to help the Warriors to a win. He's downstairs with Rashawn.
Yeah, big game, big second half for Malik Henry and the Westlake Warriors here tonight. What happened in the locker room at halftime?
I just gathered my boys, told them we need to go out there and execute, and that's what we did.
Tell me a little bit about that second half. That touchdown pass to Rodriguez, what did you see? He made a great catch. What did you see to put it there? You made a dart to get it to him.
Yeah, I just know he'd be there, and I took a chance, and he made a great play.
And the guys upstairs in the booth were talking about just how much you grew tonight as a sophomore. How do you feel like you progressed through this game? Slow start, finishing strong.
I feel that my coaches prepared me out good during the week, and I just came out here, tried to do everything they told me to do, and good things happened. So we won the game, and I'm happy.
Good things certainly did happen. Congratulations, Malik. Guys.
Thank you, Rashawn. Good things happened to the tune of 2 touchdown passes on the night for Malik Henry as the sophomore leads his team to a 24-14 win against the Crespi Celts. Well, that is going to do it as the players make their way off the field. That's going to do it for our coverage here tonight on the CIF Southern Section Game of the Week. Don't forget our post-game show presented by Del Taco on the other side of the break. Your final score here is Westlake coming over to Encino, California for a 24-14 win.
It's been said that golf is the game you love to hate. Some would say the same about buying a new car, but not at Allen GMC. No games, no tricks, but more than 65 years of knowing how to do it the right way. And with our current lineup of new GMCs, finding that right car has never been easier than right now. We call it the Allen Advantage.
Come see the all-new 2014 GMC Sierra 1500 at Allen GMC in Laguna Niguel.
Welcome to High School Spotlight Scoreboard presented by CarMax, where we start here in week number 4. Hi, everybody. Kevin Barnett and Scott Kennedy. We're going to wrap up another fantastic evening of high school football here on a Friday, and glad you've joined us. And Scott, each week we look at the matchups. Sometimes we see unranked teams that provide the best football.
Well, you look at them, and sometimes you want to see those ranked teams and the high-profile matchups, but then you start looking at the teams. Maybe we've got a smaller division team here against a larger division team here, and we had some great matchups tonight and some of our best games that we've had all season.
We have a lot of ground to cover. Let's get you right into the highlights immediately. This one is Villa Park and El Toro. Second quarter tied at 14. Trey Tinsley finds Dominic Collins for a 6-yard touchdown, 21-14 El Toro. Third quarter, Tinsley passed to Taylor Dodds for 16 yards. That would make it 28-14 El Toro. How about Villa Park driving? Dylan Osborne, quarterback, buys time, throws to Luis Vecchio. He will in a second after he avoids a few more guys. There it is. Vecchio catches that one for a 23-yard gain.
That was Houdini to Vecchio.
Osborne later sneaks in for the touchdown. That would be 28-21 El Toro. El Toro would respond. Trey Tinsley, 17-yard TD pass to Brendan Lane, 35-21 El Toro. And then fourth quarter, El Toro driving once again. Tinsley, 5-yard TD pass to Dominic Collins, 42-28 El Toro. 42-35 would be the final in this one.
And Kevin, I think Tinsley just needed to get some time under his belt because they started the game 1-3. Tinsley looked great in this game, 42 points. I was very impressed. I think they finally found their successor to Connor Manning, who graduated. So a 1-3 start. We knew El Toro was a great team. They're well coached. Might just take some time before they get ready for league play. They're ready for league play. And like I said, Tinsley looked great.
Coming into tonight, Dominic Collins was one of the guys we highlighted, and he produced during this. It was no accident that he ended up on our radar before this game.
No, that air raid offense that they use, they're going to put the ball in the air a lot, and this is their best receiver. And Tinsley, like I said, got himself in a good rhythm. And you got a guy that can run routes like that and toe touch in the line. It makes for a big catching radius. Just get it near him, and he's going to catch it. Talked about him in the pregame and how he was able to get open and use his good hands, and he did absolutely tonight. A very good hookup between those two players.
Scores from all around the southern section. Sarah with another statement win. It seems like they're starting to hit their stride.
Yeah, and Sarah is, we talked about Narbonne not quite being the Narbonne of last year. Alamany whipped them pretty good too, so Sarah is playing well. They're not going to really be tested until they play Chaminade. Mission Viejo, I think they're going to roll through the rest of their schedule too. And then Cathedral Catholic down in San Diego, I'm not even going to call that a big upset because I had them ranked ahead of Vistamir at one point during the year. That one was almost expected. They almost beat the Broncos last year. Alamany and St. Bonaventure, maybe the best matchup of the entire week. And Alamany coming from behind to beat St. Bonaventure. Long Beach Poly, there's your surprise score. Yeah, they won, but 13-0 is kind of a shock. Hart's going to roll up a bunch of big points, and Notre Dame taking it to Canyon. Canyon was undefeated coming in. We wanted to see how good they actually were. We knew they were going to get a test against Notre Dame. Notre Dame was too much for them.
We also had Segerstrom and Woodbridge taking each other on, and early on this one was tight. Segerstrom trailing 7-0 early, and Omar Navarro read the blitz, kept his footing, and pitched the ball to Joseph Sanchez. It was then 7-6. Third quarter, Ryan Goodman looked deep for Tyler Brannon and connected for a 30-yard touchdown, 14-13 Warriors. Segerstrom would respond. Fourth quarter, Goodman finds Gavin Wan for a 16-yard touchdown, 28-14 Warriors would be your final.
This one was back and forth. Woodbridge came back from that one, and that play of the night, maybe we'll get to see that one later as one of our top plays. Looked like he pitched it from his elbow. That was a terrific play. Your first read on that's belly dive. Make your read. He held that as late as he possibly